The second one, it was really cool because we saw so many people that just expanded our family, and like we're just like bigger and better now.
Disney's Zombies 2 became an instant classic the moment it was broadcast to the public. It was the textbook example of an amazing zombie film. But just like any great movie, there is a lot to unpack in this sequel. Chances are you are so caught up in the great acting and masterful storytelling that you missed at least half of the impressive Easter eggs that were hidden all throughout the show. Well, don't worry, we're giving you a free pass to watch the movie one more time. But not before we've taken a deep dive into the eccentric, fun, and otherworldly movie. So today we're going to take a look at some of the incredible secrets and Easter eggs you may have missed when you first watched Zombies 2. Needless to say, this list will contain major spoilers, so if you haven't seen Zombies 2 yet, go and watch it. But before that, a simple reminder on how to enter our brand new giveaway. We will be giving away either an iPhone X Max, the new iPad mini, or a MacBook Pro. It's all your choice. So be sure to leave a like, comment the keyword, subscribe, and turn on notifications to enter the giveaway. It's really that simple. Here's the first one. Zoe wasn't wearing a red hoodie when she asked Wyatt what big eyes you have, but the reference is clear as day. Wyatt was posing as a human being, but it appears Zoe knows deep down that he's not. It's a huge nod to the fairy tale Little Red Riding Hood. Although in this case, said sister would have been thrilled to know that she was actually talking to a real werewolf. Remember that she was more excited than terrified when word got around that there might be werewolves lurking out and about. Well, she really wanted a werewolf friend. It almost warms our heart that she crossed the paths with one early on. Number 2. There's one piece of prop that points to just how much Bucky hates zombies. But it's only on camera for about a split second, so we wouldn't be surprised if you missed the fact that Bucky's water bazooka, which he used to sabotage his zombie cheerleaders, actually had a nickname printed on it. It's actually called Bucky-zooka, which is a really awful and uninspired pseudonym for a mean contraption. But what can you really expect from the most hated character in the show, right? Fortunately, the Z-Team emerged victorious even if Bucky went so far as to try and physically harm them. Phew! Third, Shrimpy's double job. No sports team would ever be complete without a mascot, so we really didn't think anything was weird when Shrimpy first graced the screen with the Z-Team. However, it was soon revealed that this adorable mascot would play an all-too-important role in the movie, but not as a mascot. If you didn't notice, Shrimpy doubled as a school bus driver, but not a very good one. In fact, he wouldn't stop driving even after hitting Zed, and only hit the brakes when they've already collided with this menacing fence deep into the woods. So naturally, the werewolves would never have infiltrated Seabrook if Shrimpy didn't need some extra money and took on that driving job as a side hustle. For number 4, we go back to the forest I just mentioned. You might have focused too much on Shrimpy taking down the fence that was keeping zombies and werewolves away from each other, that you failed to notice there was a sign propped up on the fence before the bus collided with it. It said, "Forbidden Forest, keep out." This means there's someone out there who knows that werewolves and zombies existed on either side of this fence and wanted to avert any sort of crisis by making sure the forest is completely sealed off. The question is, who could have done this? What sort of magical powers does he or she have that a simple signage like that really kept the werewolves reined in, even though they can easily use their brute force to overcome such a flimsy fence? Number 5, and we're still talking about the Forbidden Forest. If you ever do a rewatch of this film, keep your eyes peeled for the moon, as seen inside the forest. When Willa and the rest of the crew surrounded Addison in the forest, you can catch a glimpse of a rather horrific moon in the background. Now, not only was it humongous in size, but it's also very dark despite the fact that it's still bright outside when it was spotted. Come to think of it, there are a million mysteries still surrounding the Forbidden Forest. We almost want a third franchise installment just to have more scenes revealing the magic of these woods. Next up at number 6, the Crystal Shop. With capitalism working at its finest, new shops started popping up around town to cater for the growing zombie and werewolf populations. But one particular shop caught our eye, that's the Crystal Shop. We already know that werewolves and zombies inherited their magical powers from crystals, but who else would run a crystal shop in a town if not any of them? A witch! That's who. Crystal shops are almost exclusively run by witches, and I really think it's highly possible that there might be a Zombies 3, and that it might be introducing to us a whole bunch of witches. I'm not complaining though, this just gets me even more excited, and besides, there's enough room for one more mythical creature around Seabrook. 7. A dog ate Bree's homework. One peculiar intimidation tactic that Winter uses in the film is ripping out a piece of Bree's homework and eating it. This might seem a bit too weird to some, but guess what the world's oldest excuse for not turning in your assignment on time is? That's right, the dog ate your homework. Well, let's just hope Bree's teacher believed her when she used this age-old excuse, because this time, it's legit. In that scene, Winter wasn't being mean or out of character. She's actually being the epitome of misbehaving dogs by eating someone's homework. Remember, don't leave your homework near dogs, kids. Number 8. The clever names. From the first Zombies film, we already know that there's an existing pattern in the way the characters are named. Zombies all have the letter Z somewhere in their names, and in Zombies 2, we discover that the names of werewolves also follow a similar pattern. They all have the letter W somewhere in their first names. But did you also notice Willa and Wyatt's last name? In case you didn't, it's Lycanson. Now tell us if that's not the most werewolf-sounding last name you've ever encountered in your life. Next up at number 9, the huge cheerleading budget. Did you ever notice that aside from having cheerleader teams, the town also hosts an annual cheer camp, compete with obstacle courses, and larger-than-life attractions? In case you didn't notice, Seabrook is not the biggest of towns, but they spared no dime for this humongous event. It must have cost the residents an awful lot of money to stage an event this big. We Got This blares in the background while zombies and werewolves zoom past zip lines. It's all too lavish for the small town. But why not? It was so much fun to watch. Some of these were my favorite scenes of the movie. 10. Addison somehow says a bad word. There was a weird moment when Addie was brought to the wolf's den. She attempts to howl, letting out a discordant combination of noises that sound like gibberish for the rest of us, but Wyatt ends up stopping her at one point and Winter says she has to put a pebble in the swear jar. Right at that moment, the werepups around them start mimicking what Addison said. You might have missed this joke in the peculiar sequence, but we'll spell it out for you. In making howling noises, Addison actually said a bad wolf word accidentally. Number 11. Zed called Bucky dumb, and he was too dumb himself to realize it. One of the most enjoyable scenes in Zombies 2 was when Zed and Bucky went head-to-head to be president of the student body. Bucky's whole campaign centered not on his own merits, but on the fact that Zed was a zombie. So naturally, he launched a smear campaign about how Zed eats brains, to which Bucky responded he had nothing to worry about. He basically said Bucky had no brains, and he didn't even realize it. But don't feel bad if the sick burn also flew over your heads. At least, now you know. Next up for number 12, digital karma for Zed. When our leading boy found out that his love interest might actually be a werewolf, he stole Addison's necklace to prevent her from transforming into a werewolf. But just minutes after this, he receives major digital karma that cost him the student body and his sure win against Bucky as president. The necklace crashed with his Z-band, causing him to go full zombie in front of the entire school. If he only did the right thing instead of stealing Addie's necklace, he could have held on to the win. 13. Wolf strong for another 100 years. One of the creepiest realizations we had after watching Zombies 2 was that Seabrook High School actually admitted some really old students, putting all the teenagers in the vicinity of intense danger. Remember at the start of the movie when Willa suggests they find the Moonstone at once so they can recharge their necklaces and remain wolf strong for another 100 years? Wow, these fiery wolves are truly way older than the rest of their schoolmates. Number 14, Addison's true identity. In case you didn't notice, Zombies 2 ended in a cliffhanger, especially with regard to our hero's real identity. Obviously, she wasn't human, but she wasn't a werewolf or a zombie either. By the end of the movie, though, we see Addie's hair glowing bright blue, just as a bright blue meteor appeared to have descended down to Earth. We don't know about you, but we think this is a clear indication that there will be a third installment to the franchise. Finally, we might be finding out what Addie's real identity is. Do you have any idea what you think it is? Number 15. Eliza and Wyatt's brewing love story. You must have been very dense not to notice this, but there is an undeniable chemistry between this zombie and werewolf. Another reason we're hoping there would be a third installment is so we could see the love story between these two blossom into full glory. It's not too much to ask, we believe, since the second movie all but confirmed that there are some major sparks going on between the two. Will we see some sort of hybrid cub being born in this trilogy? Might be wishful thinking, but who knows? Next up at 16, Addison's hair glow up. Following the timeline between the first and second zombie films, barely a semester has passed since we last saw our unassuming hero, who made such a big fuss about her hair reveal in the first film. Now, that's okay, but it did place a lot of attention on her hair as the second movie started. So in case you didn't notice, Addie's hair should not have been that long at the start of the new semester, unless this is another clue to her identity. After all, have you ever seen a short-haired witch? Finally, at 17, are those air vents or clown cars? One of the most glaring inconsistencies in Zombies 2 involves a sequence where the werewolves just casually dance their way inside Seabrook High, at night, in the middle of monster curfew. Okay, sure, but that's not even the most unbelievable part. Notice how they all managed to fit in the school's air vents? It was like watching dozens of clowns march out of a clown car. It was absolutely hilarious, but who knows? Maybe in the third film, we get a reveal that werewolves can actually transform into baby puppies, and that's how they fit in the air vents. We can only hope. What did you think about Zombies 2? Is it a movie you loved as much as everyone else? If you know of some other Easter eggs or secrets we may have missed, make sure to let us know because we surely can't catch all of them. Well, that's it. Time for a good old rewatch to spot all the Easter eggs we found for you. Thanks for watching.